Alexander. Welcome to Popcorn Crashed Out, the music trivia show that gulps down lager, throws up questions and attempts to mop up the resulting mess with the help of two celebrity guests. On tonight's show, Terrorvision proved that God really does come from Bradford by walking on water. Spaceman, Jazzman and Babylon Zoo reenact their Baco foil advert. And Semisonic get unreasonable with their split-screen single announcing closing time. Joining us on the show tonight, we welcome big country frontman Stuart Adamson. One of Britain's best-loved bands with 17 top 30 singles to their name, Big Country released their first studio album for 4 years, Driving to Damascus. Their new single, Perfect World, is out on Monday. Sharing the couch with Stuart is Reading's Gallically monikered Jacques Leconte from the rather dancey Les Rhythms Digitales. A man who started playing and collecting keyboards at the age of 11, Jacques and his digital rhythms released a brand new single, the snappily titled Jacques Your Body, Make Me Sweat, this week. Gentlemen, thanks a lot for joining us this evening. Lovely to see you. Well, we'll start with you, Stuart. Now, whenever people think of Big Country, they tend to think of the trademark sort of bagpipe guitar sound. It's a very Scottish kind of thing. But you live in Nashville these days.
I started working there a few years ago, just going out there to write with various people. And I fell in love with the kind of songwriter community thing there, and just being in that creative environment. It's a really stimulating place to live, and I love being able to just go out and see a whole bunch of different artists and co-write with lots of different people.
You've done a benefit gig in Kosovo to 10,000 people. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we played. It's hard to put across to people what it feels like to be in direct contact with that, but it's a real eye-opener, and really, we're no politicians, you know, we're a rock and roll band, and all we can do is go out there and play and hope people get off on it, and it makes a little bit of difference for them.
So can we expect some sort of UK shows at some point over here?
Yeah, we're due to go out on the road doing a nationwide tour starting the first week of December.
All right, excellent. Well, we look forward to that. Jacques, we move on to you, and on a less serious note, I mean, your name is Jacques, but you are not French at all. So explain.
Well, actually, my real name's Stuart, Phil.
Brilliant.
Which is something we got in common there. I haven't been to Nashville, though.
No.
I've been to Ipswich.
Ipswich, right.
I was born in Paris. That's where the whole story comes from. My parents gave me Jacques as like a pet name.
Right.
Look at our little Jacques as he was around the house, and that's where the name came from, and the sort of idea to create the whole mystique around it as well.
You mentioned your parents. I mean, they were both sort of classically trained ivory tinklers, for want of a better term. What were you sort of subjected to outside of the world of classical music?
I think the pop music was really frowned on, in my house, you know. So when I was about 11 or 12 years old, the curiosity kind of got the better of me, and I started going to libraries to find tapes, and it was the only place I could kind of do it. And it was like, why is the image as important as the music here? And that's just something that's always stayed with me. You know, with classical music, you had like, you know, the person who did it was dead anyway, so obviously their image wasn't that important.
No, public image 0, musical quality ace. Yeah,
and so, you know, I'm never going to be on stage in just in a baggy t-shirt and jeans.
Right.
You know, I said that to the television studio.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. I was going to say, but I felt that would have been rude.
Well, I did come straight from Reading.
Okay, right. Well, that brings us rather seamlessly to our first round of the evening. This is where we do the time warp. We look back at videos from 5, 10 and 15 years ago. Right. Stuart, we start with you. Terrorvision. Are you a fan of theirs at all? I mean,
yeah, anything that's kind of guitar-based like that, I generally like.
Well, sticking with you, Stuart, what was the subject matter of Terrorvision's hit, Josephine? Was it Napoleon's love for his mistress, or a male-to-female sex change inspired by an encounter in a Bradford nightclub?
The sex change thing.
It was a sex change thing, yeah.
Had to be, yeah.
I put it to you guessed that, but very well guessed all the same. Okay, Jacques, we move on to you. What was the name of frontman Paul Heaton's last band prior to forming the Beautiful South?
Fatboy Slim, wasn't it? Or was it the House Martins?
It was the House Martins, yeah. It couldn't really be Fatboy Slim. He was in the band, of course, as well with Paul Heaton, so there we go. Okay, moving swiftly along, we arrive at a question each about Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Stuart, can you tell me which Radio 1 DJ proclaimed Frankie Goes to Hollywood single Relax too obscene, and it led to it being banned? Shall I give you a multiple choice on this one?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It was either Steve Wright or Mike Reed.
Ooh. Steve Wright.
It wasn't Steve Wright, unfortunately. No, it was Mike Reed. It was Mike Reed, not to be confused, of course, with the camel coat wearing East Ender chap who, quite frankly, has been trying to relax ever since he hopped on with Pat Butcher. Okay, Jacques, we move on to you. Stop laughing at bad jokes. What was the title of Frankie's second album, which followed their hugely successful debut, Welcome to the Pleasure Dome?
I haven't got a clue.
Shall I give you a choice?
Yeah.
Was it Liverpool or was it Rage Hard?
I really couldn't tell you, so I'm going to go for Liverpool.
You'd be absolutely right. Well guessed.
Good guess,
Absolutely fantastic. Now we move on to a round called the Magical Mystery Years. This is very simple. We're going to show you a video. We're going to tell you what was #1 this week, that year. We're going to give you 2 pieces of news. What we want to know is, what is the year in question? We start with you, Stuart, and the police with Every Breath You Take. Stuart, #1 in this very week, that year, was Billy Joel with the memorable Uptown Girl. It was also the year that The Clash sacked Mick Jones because he drifted away from the original ideals of the band. Sadly, in that same year, debonair British actor David Niven passed away. So, do you know what year the police made Every Breath You Take?
I think it may well have been 1983.
You'd be absolutely right. Yeah, very well played. Yeah. And why would you have thought that? Was that purely because you were on Top of the Pops with them at the same time?
Exactly why, yeah. That was actually at #1, and we did a Top of the Pops show the very same week, yeah. So right. I kind of remember that period of time, yep.
Right, okay.
Can you remember what single you were doing? Of the 17?
I think it would be, let me think, Chance, I believe.
Brilliant. Okay, well, there you go. Right, in that same year, ex-Thin Lizzy guitarist John Sykes joined a British rock band. What was the band in question? Was it Whitesnake or was it Judas Priest?
I'm going to go for Judas Priest.
Oh,
hey, that hiss that comes up, it's terrible, isn't it?
I'll tell you why, that's because you're wrong. It was in fact Whitesnake, but never mind. Anyway, Shaq, we move over to you, and your video clip is Babylon Zoo with their #1 hit, Spaceman. In fact, their only hit. Watch this. A few clues as to what year we're talking about here. This week, that year, the #1 record was the Spice Girls with Say You'll Be There. One of the big news stories of that year was the fact that Take That decided to split, prompted by Robbie Williams doing a runner a few months earlier. And it was also the year that Charlatans keyboard player Rob Collins was tragically killed in a car accident. So what year are we talking about?
I think it's 1995. There's that familiar...
Sounds terrible.
Cutting sound of the studio.
Well, you might want to rethink that.
It's, what, 96?
Absolutely right, yeah. Right, okay. Sticking with 1996, a year you almost got wrong, we'll give you a chance to earn a bonus point.
Thank you.
Also in 1996, which band released a single called All I Want?
Do I get a multiple choice?
You do. Was it Baby D or was it Skunk Anansie?
Well, it wasn't Baby D, so it must be Skunk Anansie.
Yeah, well played. Very well, very well. Very good. Okay, well, as we reach the halfway point, I can actually tell you that, bizarrely enough, you're just trailing by a single point here, Stuart. So everything to play for in part 2. We opened up the video vault this week and we found lurking in the shadows and covered in cobwebs a strange individual by the name of Andrew Ridgeley. This was a single that was released in 1990. I'd like to say it was a hit, but it was probably a miss. It was called Red Dress. Before we subject you, we'll leave you with a little trivia teaser. We'd like to know the title of Andrew Ridgeley's solo album from 1990. Was it Son of a Gun or Son of Albert? Answer after the break. We'll see you there.